Greetings from the far side of the galaxy, I'm Furry, your host, the most proving that the bottom of a barrel I will scrape for views is very deep. If I named this video correctly, and there's a decent chance I didn't, you should know what we're doing. Basically, you know those tier lists everyone does all the time? It's basically that. To help me rank characters based on how much I like them, we have a few tiers. First is S for super, then A for awesome, B for but okay, I like them, and then C for cool, then D for they alright, E for nah, and finally, Lake Emma. If you don't get that last one, go play Echo, it's a great game. I have like 300 characters, and no seriously, like 300, so in the interest of not being here all day, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Let's start out with the first character on our list, the King of the Koopas, Bowser. He's cool, I like him. This may be a bit weird, but the thing that actually made me like him most was those Nintendo Switch safety commercial things that Nintendo made. It's really nice just seeing him be a dad and stuff. We also know that Bowser himself is a furry with a cat Sona thanks to Super Mario 3D World, I think? I can't remember the name of the game off the top of my head. So Bowser gets to go into the first tier, S for super. Up next, we have Baron Humbert von Gickingen. Can't believe I said his name right on the first try. From the Studio Ghibli movie, The Cat Returns. What actually surprises me most about Baron is that most people don't know that he's actually a statue. Which is weird because that's mentioned in the movie. How do people not know that? Do they just not pay attention? Anyway, The Cat Returns is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, and a lot of that has to do with Muta, though Baron is a close second. To that end, he gets to go in A for awesome. Next up, we have Azrael, the god of hyperdeath. And you know what? I'm gonna put him in S tier just for that name. It's like the peak cool thing that a stupid kid would create, and I just love it. And at the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Ralsei, or Ralsei. I don't know how to pronounce his name, and that annoys me. And to that end, we're putting him in Lake Emma. Sploosh. After that, we have Azrael's mom, Toriel. MILFs. That would normally get her into A tier, but because I find her name being a very funny pun on the word tutorial, I think we're gonna put her in S tier. We've done enough Undertale, so let's move on to something else with Nick Wilde from Zootopia. I only got around to watching Zootopia like 5 years after it came out. I was in my senior year, last day of school, and my teacher put it on. It was peak. However, he does become a cop at the end of the movie, and I know for a fact that is not what the NWA meant when they said fuck the police. Normally I'd put him in E tier, but I do like his aviator shades from when he becomes a cop, so we're gonna be nice and put him in C tier. Next we have, okay, well I don't know his name, I've never actually played Animal Crossing, but I do know him as that one cat that everyone lost their minds over back when lockdown started. You remember that? Anyway, he goes into Lake Emma because I feel like all his fans should suffer for being annoying. How does it feel to have your favorite villager die for your sins? The next character we have to rank is, let's do Zabi Vaka. He's going immediately in S tier. Why? Well, to that end, you need a bit of context. Zabi Vaka was Russia's mascot for FIFA back in 2018. Well, you know how Russia is also super homophobic? Well, people responded by drawing ludicrous, and I mean ludicrous amounts of lewd art of Zabi Vaka doing, well, stuff the Russian government wouldn't approve of. This makes Zabi Vaka one of the first modern instances of people creating lewd art as a way to criticize governments. And for that, I think he's pretty cool. Next up, we have Mordecai from the hit show, Regular Show. He goes straight into Lake Emma, and honestly I really shouldn't have to even explain why. Let's start with the fact that he broke up with his girlfriend at another man's wedding. And he did it publicly too, with a speech. Or the fact that he just straight up killed his best friend that one time. Seriously, just straight up killed him. Frankly, I think he's the first person on this list who honestly deserves to be in Lake Emma. Since we're about halfway through the video, give or take, I have no idea how long this video actually will be, let me tell you to like and subscribe and also join my Ko-fi and Patreon. That's the best way to yell at me about the stuff you want me to cover in the future. Since we haven't done a really popular furry character in a bit, let's do Luna from Hell of a Boss or Hazbin Hotel. I genuinely can't remember, I stopped watching those shows a while ago. Just like whatever show she's from, we'll put her in They Aight. I don't hate them, but I don't particularly like them either, you know? Which is kind of weird because I know the internet really loves Luna. Let's go from one adult comedy to another with Gummy Goo from The Amazing Digital Circus, which I'm pretty sure is an adult comedy. Again, I haven't watched like half the things I'm ranking. Listen, I'm not here to be accurate, I'm here to have fun. I'm really confused as to why Gummy Goo is even on this tier list to begin with, because like, he's not really a furry or even a scaly. He's made out of like gummy candy, right? He'd be like a gummy. Honestly, I'm not even sure where I want to put him because of that. If we're being totally fair, he should go in like Lake Emma, but I also do like the concept of Gummy Goo, specifically because I do like gummy candy. So I'm just gonna put him in the nice middle ground of C tier. And then we'll do Bubsy since I don't have anything better to do. Yes, I know his games are shit. Yes, I know his voice is annoying, but he was a good source of YouTube fuel back in the day, and I have to respect him for that. You're in luck, you fucking Bobcat, because instead of going in like Emma, you get E tier. Oh wow, it's a familiar face from our last tier list. Samuel Ayers from Echo specifically, because I haven't played the Smoke Room. Not sure about him when he's the protagonist of his own game, but in Echo he's like an evil head ghost that tells you to kill people. So you know what? We're gonna put him in E tier. Now we have the Dancing Tigers from Zootopia, and I think we all know exactly where they're going. S tier. It's funny how despite being Gazelle's backup dancers, they are infinitely more popular than her. Oh, and since I did mention her, let's just throw Gazelle in D tier. It's been a while since I ranked a truly popular furry character, so get your butt on out here, Haida. It's been a while since I last watched Aggretsuko, but Haida has always been a part of it I remembered. For better or worse, the dude is basically the show's walking B-plot. Whenever Retsuko's doing something, Haida is also doing something, and it's usually much lamer than whatever Retsuko is getting up to. And that's not too bad at all. When the series kind of drifts from its original premise, the fact that Haida's pretty much always stays the same makes his parts fairly enjoyable. For that, he gets to go in B tier. Oh wow, he's the first B tier we've got. I really need to get out to filling that bracket. Next up, we have Maximilian Goof from a Goofy movie. No, like, a Goofy movie is literally the thing's name. Like, here, look at the box art. A pun so ass that I'm tempted to put him in S tier just for it. I'd probably like him more if I watched the movie recently, but the last time I watched a Goof Troop was in, like, elementary school. And I'm done with college now, so we should just be happy to get into B tier. Whoa, is this Retro Fury? Because now we're talking about Housamo with Horkyu Kamui, who I'm throwing in Lake Emma, out of spite. Sploosh. Oh, and since I am spite posting about Housamo, let's go ahead and throw Batham's stale buns into Lake Emma. I diagnose you and all your fans with cringe. Sploosh, be gone with ye. Next up, we have Diane Foxington from The Bad Guys, a movie I still haven't watched. Has anyone ever talked about how weird furry names are? Like, her name is Diane Foxington, and she's a fox. And her name is Foxington. Like, that's if a person walked up to you and said, hey, my name is Joe Humanjamin. Like, what kind of fucking last name is that? What was I doing again? Oh, right, the tier list. We'll just put her in D tier or whatever. I'm putting more thoughts into Diane's last name than into Diane herself. Let's get back to Housamo and rank everyone's favorite sloth bear thing, Sethogwa. Honestly, he's one of my favorite characters from the game. The idea of making this living embodiment of sloth and need is just really clever. And the fact that this living embodiment of sloth is literally so down bad for the Spider-Woman that he literally worked himself sick is just the icing on the cake.
Oh my. Maybe I could work a little more.
I love the smell of 2-year-old reused content in the morning. For that, we're gonna put Sethogwa in A tier for awesome. Now let's get to the first of many Pokemon with Lucario. I may not like Pokemon very much, but I do like this guy. Just look at him. He's basically Goku's persona, he even gets the Kamehameha and all that. I think Goku's pretty cool, so Lucario is good by extension. He gets to go in A tier for awesome. Let's keep up with the Pokemon and do the next one. Pikachu. Again, I never really played the games, but I did watch the anime quite frequently thanks to my older cousin who loved the show. And I gotta admit, this little rat thing was a pretty good character, believing in Ash even when the audience didn't. And to that, I've gotta put him in A tier. Okay, so I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent with this one, but just like fucking bear with me. I stream games, right? And recently I've been streaming this one game, Threefold Recital. For like brain synergy and all that, I wanted to cover the stream in this video by using like the characters and putting them on its list. And to do that, I needed to find their sprites in the game, and holy shit, why was it so hard? It took me hours to do. It is literally 5 AM as I'm recording this. I tried Game Extractor, that crashed. I had to use Asset Studio Extractor, that kept on crashing, but I eventually managed to get these, so be fucking happy. Let's get started with the first of the 3 protagonists, Chiratna, or as the game files call him, Rice. Like, I'm not making that up, he's just actually called Rice in the files. I really like Chiratna. Despite being a monk and being all peace and kindness and all that stuff, the events of the game always have him doing shady stuff, from small lies to outright crimes. And the fact that he enjoys dumb puns makes him a man after my own heart. As such, he earns the esteemed rank of A tier. Up next, we have Tai King. This isn't really relevant, but did you know that he was originally planned to have brown hair in his concept art? I personally prefer his current all-orange look, but that aside, Tai King really does seem to be the dev's favorite considering his parts occupy the longest portion of the game. Not that I'm going to complain, since his parts are the most traditional detective mystery parts of the game, which actually means I like playing as him the most. This means Tai King gets bumped up 1 spot into S tier. And now we have the last of the game's protagonists, the snake Transia. And sorry, I don't have any fun fact about her to share with you today. Despite how furries tend to get around the obligatory woman in their games, I actually really like Transia. She's got this playful personality but practical attitude that bounces off really well with the more outrageous and weird characters in the game. Surprising even me, she goes into S tier too. Next up, we're gonna cover Asgore. Did you know I originally planned to cover him way back at the start of this video with Toriel and Azrael? I just chose not to because having 3 characters from the same franchise in a row seemed like overdoing it, and the irony of me saying that after covering 3 characters from threefold Recital is not lost on me. He may have murdered children, but he's also very hot, so we're gonna be nice to him and put him in B tier. And since we're following up things from a while ago, let's do Rigby from Adventure Time. Someone from my Patreon Discord server said I should put him in like Emma, but the odd thing about Rigby is that I think he suffers from like reverse flanderization. And not even reverse flanderization in that like he gets better, but everyone around him gets so much worse that he just seems better in comparison. And when his direct competition is Mordecai, it's hard to consider him as worse. He's still not a good guy, he still probably deserves to go in like Emma, but frankly I just can't put him there, so we're just gonna put him in E tier. I did promise more Pokemon, so let's just do a lightning round because I don't want to be here all day. We've got Incineroar, you're cool, so you go in A tier. Then we got Lycanroc, you're also cool, so you go in A tier too. Then we've got Eevee, a cool concept, but honestly your design is very boring, go in C. And then we have Vaporeon, you're ugly as fuck, go in like, wait, no, that's a water type, so to the desert, fuck you. And that's going to be the end of our lightning Pokemon round because that's all the Pokemon I can name off the top of my head, and I am not looking any more up. Up next, we have Yi from the hit game 9 Souls. I'm not sure if I said this before, but one of the funniest things about 9 Souls is that at first you think every Solarian is Yi's height. And then as you come across more and more as you play the game, you come to realize that yeah, no, Yi is just the world's angriest manlet. 10 out of 10, S tier character and S tier design. It's been a while since I actually covered a really popular furry character, so I might as well get back to that and do Legoshi. He's a really good protagonist that's well suited to the story he's in. He's just as insane as the world around him, and ironically that means he can walk right over the stupid boundaries that the world has set up, which in turn leads to things changing for the better. I would put him in A tier, but that rank is honestly looking kinda cluttered, so we're gonna call this a grading curve and put him in B. And after that, we're going to do Louis, specifically so I can throw him in D tier. Honestly, he's not that bad. I actually like his character. I just hate his name. I think it should be pronounced Louis. Bet you forgot I was stupid and petty about names, didn't ya? Now who else should I mention in the video for the sake of putting them on the thumbnail? Lin Hugh, go get me views. We're gonna put him in like B tier. And then we have Death from Puss in Boots, a great character from a great movie. It'd be wrong if I put him any lower than S. And finally, let's go with Shiro Ogami from Brand New Animal. I like him more than I should. B tier. And here we are, the final tier list. What do you think? Did I place them accurately? Of course I did. I'm perfect and amazing at everything. Now let's get to our Patreon shoutouts. For our 3 stars, we have special thanks to Choron, SkyKing64, Ace Sunwero, Garen Phase, Zora Chow, Venomous, Rileymoon378, The Good Old Days, and Jay Stassi. For 4 stars, we have Mickey Moon, McCoyties, and Otterly Hall, The Camping Trip. And for our Super D2per special 5-star shoutouts, we have Hodari Lion, The Perfectionist. Thank you for watching. Do be sure to like and subscribe and check out my Ko-fi and Patreon. As always, this is your host Furry signing out.